Okay, we're continuing where we left off. We're dying, basically, so I'm expecting a game over screen. The hands drop from my neck, leaving me wheezing for air. My lungs burn with each ragged cough. My vision clears and the traveler's face takes shape, hovering inches from mine, lips still split in that macabre smile, even as blood seeps between their teeth. They give one last shuddering breath, then slump over the claws hooked through their stomach. The soulless shoves the body aside, and the glowing eyes, studding its leathery skin, thin as though grinning. Okay, there's a flash of claws. Reds spill across my vision. I thought there'd be pain, but as I sink into the murky water, all I can feel is the grit of silt filling my mouth and the icy embrace of shallow water. Distantly, I notice an arm resting among an outcrop of reeds, mine neatly severed at the elbow. Oh. Okay. That's the dismemberment we were warned about, I guess. It should have taken both arms. Yeah, honestly. If you're gonna do it right. Without them, maybe I could have survived. Maybe I could have had a home. Instead, I'll die cold, alone, and face down in a desolate wasteland. A fitting end for a monstrosity like me. Okay, cool. If this is death, it's not as bad as I feared. The cold is gone, as is the choking stench of bog water. I could drift forever, cocooned in oblivion, until all thought and sensation vanished. No curse, nobody howling at me in madness and terror. Nothing at all. The thought has a terrible appeal to it. But the next moment I take a reflexive breath. Air pours into my lungs, then out again in a ragged gasp. Feeling comes flooding back. Warm cloth on my bare skin, a firm surface underneath me, a strange tang of sulfur in the air. Do not be afraid. I know there's like some kind of angel guy in this game. Is this gonna be him? Because that would be like, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, of course it's him. Of course it's fucking him. Do not be afraid, yeah. I twist my head toward the voice. Tears flood my bleary vision at the bright glow of lamplight. Try not to move. The voice is calm, steady, and commanding, but more importantly, it's a stranger's voice. One thought cuts through my mental fog. I have no idea who this is, and am completely at their mercy. Stay away from me. My words come out in little more than a creaky whisper. I clamp my mouth shut, hating how weak and helpless I sound. No. No? Who the hell is this? Sit up, lie back down. Hold on. What? What did he even say no to? Sorry for me, no. Okay. Who the hell is this? Sit up or lie back down? I think I should lie back down, honestly. I mean, I almost died just now, lying back down. I let myself slump back against the thin pillow, wincing when the motion jolts my head. A cooperative patient, thank you. The words swim in one ear and out the other without much comprehension. Yeah, that's my experience with everything. I pull the sheet up higher, wiping my eyes until my vision clears. The stranger towers over my prone form. Warm light reflects off his pristine medical coat. I instinctively shrink back, and that's when I notice that I'm completely naked except for a thin linen sheet. Oh guys, it's getting steamy already. That's insane. First we almost died, and now we're here naked in a stranger's bed. Naked, lying on a low cot, with a pair of sharp golden eyes watching my every move. The man's gaze flickers to my exposed, unbandaged hands. I plunge my hands under the sheet to hide them from sight, though it's too late. He must have noticed what they look like. Strange. Cursed. Inhuman. I brace myself for his inevitable suspicion and disgust, but his expression doesn't even flicker from that courteous smile. He just watches in placid silence as I struggle to make sense of my surroundings. Where am I? Who are you? Be calm, you are safe here. Whoever this is, he clearly has no idea who or what I am. I've never been safe anywhere with anyone. Even my own mentor, my teacher, thought I was nothing but a convenient specimen to be used and discarded. I scowl, pulling the sheet protectively around myself. Where are my clothes? The man's golden eyes narrow slightly. A sharp sigh rustles the papers in his hands. I see you are not to be dissuaded. Your clothes were torn to shreds when I found you, but I procured replacements. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I did expect the clothes to be at least somewhat torn to shreds after all of that. So I wouldn't really, like, obviously my clothes are like, here, sure, you can have them, but they're just like pieces of cloth now. Replacement clothes, yay! With a soft creak, he stands from his chair, giving me a better view of my surroundings. I seem to be in some sort of medical clinic. Bottles of silvery alchemical concoctions line the counters in neat rows. The air makes my nose twitch, a faint whiff of smoke and something distinctly metallic that I can't quite place. The doctor produces a large, dense bundle of cloth, which he sets at the foot of my cot. He's easily a head taller than most, and I have to crane my neck to look at him. Okay, yeah, I'm not really a fan of men that are like super tall. So he failed the hot boy test for me personally. For now. Thank you. Could you step out? I mean, I'm assuming he's going to step out anyways. So I'm just going to, thank you. I should be polite if I can, especially since I don't know who this is, what he can do, or what he wants with me. Thank you. You're welcome. I will leave you to get dressed. Yeah, see? That's what I mean. You don't have to rush things. He seems like... okay, yeah. Great mullet, by the way. With a curt nod, he leaves through a narrow door. I hear a soft click as the lock turns behind him. I count to 3 in the sudden silence. When I don't hear any more footsteps, I reach for the bundle of clothes. An itch on my elbow stops me short. I reach down absently to rub at it, then freeze when my fingers meet a neat line of stitches. I know what I saw. That beast took my arm clean off, and yet my arm shows no sign of injury apart from the black stitches poking through my skin. I gingerly flex my fingers, feeling my heart race at the sensation. This is impossible. I should be dead, or at the very least gasping out my last breaths. I squeeze my eyes shut, waiting for the pleasant dream to unravel, to wake up bleeding out in the swamp. But nothing happens. The seconds tick by and my arm remains resolutely healed, my surroundings pristine and quiet. In numb disbelief, I reach for the replacement clothes and begin stiffly pulling them on. They're thicker and warmer than mine were, with a black woolen cloak to go with them. But there's one thing still missing, my bandages. The golden-eyed man didn't leave me with any, even though I know he saw my hands. Girl, I think is, like, look, he sewed my arm back on. He's literally a doctor. He has all this medical equipment. I think he can hand over some bandages. I slide off the bed and take a few unsteady steps toward one of the drawers. If this is indeed a doctor's clinic, there must be bandages somewhere. Or you could just, ask. I start opening drawers at random, and of course that's when the door swings open once more. Are you looking for something? See, it's never a good idea to just go snooping around. I whirl around, clutching a thick roll of clean bandages. I try to step back from him, but my legs bump up against the edge of the cot. Your caution is understandable, though if I meant you any harm, you would know. Yeah, I mean, I was passed out for most of the time, so if he meant any harm, he could have done that by now. That doesn't make me feel better in the slightest, but he makes no move toward me, so I quickly wind the bandages around my hands. The glowing scars and mottled skin disappear under a layer of clean white cotton. May I ask why you need additional bandages? I clench my jaw. I knew it would only be a matter of time before he asked about my hands, though the way he does it is strangely roundabout. Say nothing, glare at him, decline to answer. These are all the same to me. These are all the same to me. Say nothing, glare at him, decline to answer. Why do I need additional bandages? Glare at him, decline to answer. I'm just not gonna say anything. I think that's like I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything. There's no answer I could give without raising unwelcome suspicion, so I just shake my head and finish tying the bandages in silence. I can only help if you tell me what ails you. No, you did a great job, buddy. You did a great job. It's all fine. It's all good. He's like so hurt that he sewed our arm back on, and I'm here taking out bandages, being like, oh, my hands. No, you did a great job, buddy. You did a great job. An involuntary snort of laughter escapes me. Where would I even begin? Would he even believe me if I told him? No, best to keep my curse to myself for now, and learn more about him first. Oh yes, in this world of magic and demons and whatnot, having a curse, that's insane. Who are you? You may call me Curas. Curas? Curas. And where exactly am I? He's called Curas because he cures us. Ha! Iridia, which I assume was your carry-on's destination. I can think of nowhere else for a group of travelers to go. Iridia, so I made it to the City of Knowledge after all. I should feel relieved, but all I can manage is a vague sense of increasing unease. How did I end up here? I brought you to my clinic, of course. You were the only survivor from the caravan, barely clinging to life. You needed immediate treatment. Which you provided? Obviously he provided it. Yes. He says it so simply as if I'm a small child and he's explaining basic addition to me. Well, to be fair, he kind of is. He kind of is explaining very simple scenarios right now. It's pretty simple, like it is. I frown and flex the fingers on my recently healed arm. Aside from being a bit stiff, it feels fine. Thoroughly attached to me. You're saying that you stitched my arm back on? Girl. Yeah, someone would have done it, right? Someone would have done it. And yeah, it's the doctor who did it. Oh, big surprise. Pardon? A soulless attacked the caravan. It ripped everyone to shreds. It tore my arm clean off. But when I woke up here, I spent my entire life learning from a Cenobian mage, and I know of no alchemy or magic that could reattach a severed limb. Well, obviously it happened, though. In the City of Knowledge. So, okay, cool. Even if he somehow could heal me by magic, I should detect traces of it. Maybe it's simply modern medicine. Ever think of that? But I sense nothing out of the ordinary at all. The doctor, curious, pinches the bridge of his nose. He sits back down in his chair, quiet for a long time. I went to medical school for this. I do not know where you come from, but Iridia is the City of Knowledge and deadly secrets alike. Information is power, and it is most unwise to give or receive it freely. Since you have refused to divulge your secrets, I will not divulge mine. I do not even know your name. You are new to Iridia, so I will overlook this specific breach of etiquette. However, you should not expect others to extend the same courtesy. Do you understand? He looks pointedly at my freshly bandaged hands. Loath though I am to admit it, he has a point. I'm also a complete stranger to him, and if he's telling the truth, he saved my life. I take a deep, steadying breath. This time when I speak, I sound a bit more like myself. Joshi, my name is Joshi. It is a pleasure to meet you, Joshi. There's a little more warmth in his smile, his polite demeanor back in an instant. Thank you for saving me, or why did you save me? I feel like didn't I already thank him? No, I thanked him for the clothes. I mean, I am curious why. But I think it's just like normal for him, like there's people bleeding out in a caravan, I'm a doctor, I'm gonna do something about it, I guess. Thank you for saving me. Thanks for saving my fucking life. I chance a smile in return. Even if he won't explain how he did the impossible, there's no doubt in my mind that I'd be dead if not for Curious. Think nothing of it. I'm not sure if he's just being excessively courteous, but his words only raise more urgent questions. But I have to ask, why did you save me? You don't know me. I love how my choices matter. The question seems to startle Curious. I could hardly leave you to die in the wastes. Assisting those in need is the very essence of a doctor's duty. I've never met a doctor who also handed out free clothes. My fingers find the edge of the cloak. There is a subtle but delicately embroidered pattern around the hem. I try not to think about what kind of price Curious might ask for such well-made clothes. Yeah, okay, but... Okay, I know this isn't a modern setting or anything, but like doctors do hand out clothes. Like, not the doctors themselves, but like, if you don't have any clothes, they give you clothes. No, I suppose not. Forgive my presumption. I rarely come across so fascinating a patient. I blink. What did he just say? Oh god, my backstory. No, I must leave right now. I simply meant that few would cling to life so resolutely or brave such a perilous journey to Iridia. I could not help being curious about you, Joshi. His voice dips to a soft murmur, and he abruptly looks away from me. You're pretty curious yourself. I've never met a competent doctor. I don't know what to say to that. Yeah, I've never met a competent doctor, hello. You're pretty curious yourself. Am I? Well, I haven't forgotten about my arm. I wiggle my intact fingers at him. Clearly not. But you haven't asked me for any payment either. I require none from you. Travelers do not have an abundance of coin, and it would be unethical to leave you destitute in a strange place. I fall silent, unsure what to say to that. Nobody would help a horror like me for free. There has to be some kind of catch or trick, right? A loud knock at the front door stops our conversation cold and spares me from having to say anything else. Duty calls. Unfortunately, you are not my only patient today. The knocking grows more insistent and Curious lets out a tired sigh. Please wait your turn. Though he says it quietly, the clamor on the other side of the door abruptly stops. Do you need anything before you leave, Joshi? Oh. Between the soulless attack and my miraculous survival, I'd almost forgotten why I came to Iridia in the first place. I need directions to the cenobium. The cenobium? Oh, that was the wrong thing to say. The look on his face is downright chilling. He pauses, choosing his words with cold deliberation when he speaks again. Whatever you seek, it is very unlikely you will find it there. The cenobium's gates open for precious few visitors. Even if they did, you would not like what you found inside. My heart sinks. Is he saying that I came all this way for nothing? Risked life and limb for nothing? No, that can't be. I've only just arrived, and Iridia is the largest city still standing. There has to be a cure for me here. Then if not the cenobium, where would you suggest? Do you know anyone else in Iridia? I shake my head. Then I suggest a local guide. Head to the Wet Wick and ask for Leander. Excuse me, the wet what? The Wet Wick. He sounds deeply unamused. Follow the postings advertising Leander's bloodhounds. They are difficult to miss. When you meet Leander, tell him I sent you. That isn't much to go on, but Curious points toward the clinic's back door. You will be safe so long as you do not draw attention to yourself. That's easier said than done. I've always been a magnet for the worst sort of attention. If you require my assistance, you may return whenever you wish. Though he's smiling, there's a note of finality in his voice. Resigned to my dismissal, I slip out the back door. I find myself standing in a narrow and rather gloomy alley. I pull the new cloak up over my nose, stepping over the contents of chamber pots that have been emptied into the street. Something weighs heavily inside one of the cloak's pockets, my coin purse. Everything is still inside, every last coin that I'd scraped together for the journey to Iridia. It doesn't even look like it was opened. There were so few coins to begin with, they probably weren't worth stealing. I glanced back at the clinic's closed door. Curious didn't take any payment, he didn't even ask for a future favor. But he also said that in Iridia, secrets are power. Does he expect me to give up mine at some point? The music's a bit loud, isn't it? Right now? Music's a bit loud. Oh, that's really, really loud. Okay, I think that's better. That's not exactly a comforting thought. Still, no matter why he did it, Curious gave me a second chance and a lead on where I might find help. Did the music just change or did it just go this quiet? Okay, that's... Yeah, it's just... Okay, anyways. I'd better get going before he changes his mind. I squeeze out of the alley and into the crowded main street. The line outside Curious's clinic stretches down the road already. Two thin peddlers queue alongside weathered elders. If any place is in desperate need of a free clinic, it's this one. The cobblestones are treacherously rough under my feet, deep grooves worn between them by regular flooding and decades of hard use. I knew Iridia was a river city, but I didn't expect it to look so eroded. The buildings are tired and dilapidated, all crammed together in narrow streets. A child darts by, clutching something greasy wrapped in paper. The smell of fried food drifts over to me, my stomach gives a faint gurgle. This morning's catch, fried up, hot and fresh. Not too many eyeballs today. That sounds disgusting, but I'm starving, so I dug my head under the stall's grubby awning. A large fish leers up at me, its three bulging eyes still visible through the thick layer of crispy batter. The vendor gives me a gap-toothed grin. What's the cheapest thing you've got? The vendor points at a metal basket of what looks like long strips of savory fried dough. Fresh long, lads, 3 copper apiece, don't burn your mouth. I take the coins out, counting them gingerly. At this rate, I might not even be able to afford dinner. Reluctantly, I drop the payment on the counter and take my meal. 2 streets later, I pass under a wrought iron archway adorned with dangling garlands of red and pink lilies. The buildings in this quarter are a dizzying riot of color, painted walls and tinted glass everywhere I look. Sheer red and pink curtains flutter in open doorways. Musical voices call out invitingly. Incense mingles with the pungent scent of flowers, barely covering the salt and musk of warm bodies. This must be Iridia's entertainment district. I'm polishing off my food and dusting the crumbs from my hands when I spot a poster. It features the silhouette of a smiling man wearing a single dagger-like earring and the word Bloodhounds printed above his head. A motto, "As above, so below," circles the artwork. If Leander is the leader of the Bloodhounds, then the face printed on the poster is likely his. I follow the line of identical posters around a corner and nearly hit my head on a precariously dangling wooden sign. Looking up, faded orange letters read, "The Wet Wick." The facade of the building looks like it's seen better days, but I hear faint music and laughter coming from inside.